Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Star Wars, the original. Although the longer name is, of course, Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope. Uh, Back when it first came out, it was just Star Wars. Some of you may not realize that. You younger ones, let's say that. The ones that aren't me. I have to admit, I was in the theaters. I saw this in the theaters when it came out originally. Not just the special. I saw the special editions, of course, in 1997. But yes, I've been around long enough to have seen this in the theaters the first time. Kind of a big deal. I'm a big deal. No, I'm not. The point is that for me to talk about this, it's sort of like asking the internet to talk about it because we've already talked about it way too much. There, there are um, it takes up a good chunk of the internet. Uh, there's, by the way, there's no more. There's nobody who talks about Star Wars and hates Star Wars as much as the people who love Star Wars. Apparently, it it's it's a thing. Even Star Trek, which is seen as its cinematic and or its sci-fi rival, it's not. They're one inspired. It was a Star Trek was very much an inspiration. Gene Roddenberry was very much an inspiration for George Lucas, and they appreciated each other's work. And so, yeah, anytime you see somebody going Star Trek or Star Wars, that's not a thing that needs to exist. It's just people um, making an argument for because they're bored. I guess I don't know. We can love it all. It doesn't hurt anybody to love both and love it all. Uh, so there's my soapbox. So, what did I think about Star Wars? You say, can I make a video about this that is more than 2 minutes long or less than 40 hours long? I'm going to try to come somewhere in between there. I this time I didn't sit down and focus on it with just a TV. I had it at my desk. I was watching it on a different monitor as I was doing other things. But of course, as I've done with so many other things, I get pulled into it and I got nothing done. So, with this, my focus was trying to see things I hadn't seen before, taking a closer look at little Easter eggs, maybe things that people have talked about in recent months or years that maybe I hadn't seen before. Just taking notice of the little things, certain expressions, certain aspects of the film, of this character, in light of everything we now know. This is the first time I'm seeing this since watching Rise of Skywalker. It's been almost a year since I last watched this in preparation of the final film in the Skywalker saga. So yeah, I did do the I didn't do the machete edit or mix or whatever you want to call it. I did do 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, and then went to 9 the next night. And because you gotta, for me, you have to go with the original to start with the original. Or no, wait, did I? Maybe I went from the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't remember. I've seen these films so many times. I don't remember. I've done it every way possible. But yeah, I focused on a lot of little things here that I found interesting, and I'm going to go through a few of them with you that you might be able to check out next time you watch the film. Um, yeah, again, this is not the original version of the film on Disney Plus. It is also not the special edition, not exactly. It has all of the most of this. Mostly all of the special edition enhancements, digital effects, and things like that from 1997, the 20th anniversary release. That's more than 20 years ago. And not all those edits were great. I understand George's and ILM's insistence on improving what could be improved. Not all of it was necessary, and a lot of us did want to see cut scenes, removed scenes added back. For me, I wanted to see the Cammy and Fixer and Big scene from the early beginning of the film, and Luke looking up at the with his binoculars at the sky. Probably not a good idea if the sun, you have two suns in the sky, to get binoculars out in the middle of the day. I realize that you could probably have the sun behind you and still, oh my gosh, there's flashes of light up there in the sky. I remember that somehow. I remember that existing. I don't know if it's because I saw it in a making of documentary or whatever, like cutscenes, but for some reason it felt like saw it in the theaters that way. I'm probably wrong, but those scenes seemed to me to add a little bit more depth to Luke. But I realized it probably threw off the pace and whatever. What they did keep was, of course, the Jabba the Hutt scene, which was originally shot with a human actor, and then they 1997 CGI level, or technically 1995, 96, because they would have made that in at least a year in advance of that film's actual release. They kept that scene with Han talking to Jabba, which was completely unneeded, except to show Boba Fett exists. He walks in this frame and then he walks out. We didn't need it. We didn't need it. The conversation he has with Jabba is almost the exact same conversation that he has with Greedo. It wasn't needed. And speaking of Greedo, they did enhance the Greedo shoot scene. Rather than deciding who shot first, they had them shoot simultaneously after Greedo goes, McClunky. McClunky. So we had the McClunky edit of Star Wars on Disney Plus. Just so you know, I'm going to call it that if somebody already hasn't. I'm pretty sure somebody has called it something. It's the McClunky cut of Star Wars. So yeah, watch for that. No idea. I think it's meant to distract or extend that moment so that it is not such an immediate, yeah, I bet you have, pew pew, and then I don't know, yeah, I bet you have McClunky, pew. That somehow that changes the pace in the who shot first argument. Han always shot first. I'm just letting you know, but adding McClunky, I think, diverts people's attention, and then they all start talking about that rather than who shot first. That might have been the mentality behind that. I have no idea. Great. One of the fun little things that is in this, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but when everybody's been discovered on the Death Star, and Luke and Han and Leia and Chewie are in the trash compactor. Ow. Got a bit of a twinge there, sorry. They're in the trash compactor, and R2 and 3PO are still in the control room, just hiding away. Stormtroopers come bursting into the room, and one hits his head on the door frame. It's a classic fan little Easter egg that people just make fun of and just joke about. They've even made a documentary about that guy, a full documentary about the experience. They had to hunt down that guy. It's sort of comedic and might be scripted, but it's still mixed with element of reality, that there was a guy in a stormtrooper outfit who bonks his head against the doorframe as he walks through it. And it's been mostly ignored, except for people who have seen the movie a billion times, like me. But I noticed something strange about it when I watched it this time. It had an audible boom, boom, whatever, a boink, a bonk sound when he hits his head. I'm like, was that always there? So I checked. I have the original unspecial version. I have the non-Disney Plus version, the non-McClunky version. I went back to the original edit, and it does not have that noise. I checked the special edition then, and it turns out it does actually have that noise. They changed that in the special edition, and I never realized it. That little audio boing, boom, when he hits the door frame has been there since 1997. I'm pretty sure, because I think that's the edition that I have that I checked against, the special edition version. So yeah, I think they may have accentuated it though. It sounds so much fuller in the McClunky version. So yeah, it's a neat little neat little thing. So if you go there, if you watch the movie, it's an hour and 22 minutes into the film. By the way, the first half of the film I never really realized is pretty much all on Tatooine. The first hour, it's a little short of an hour, maybe 50 minutes or something like that, before they get out of Tatooine, out of Mos Eisley, um, and then they're in space. Then they hit the Death Star, and that's the second half of the film. That's kind of weird. I remember my little story of Star Wars record. Well, it was an LP, but I remember listening to that every time. And just as they were getting tractor beamed into the Death Star, the music would build, and then you'd have to flip the record, and then the rest of the movie would play. So yeah, it is actually the dead center of the movie. It's kind of neat. So I got that. I got the Stormtrooper Bonk, the special edition extras. I'm going to speculate here first for a little bit. When it comes to, people have always wondered why, like Yoda and all the Jedi never realized that there was a Sith Lord in their presence this whole time. Like in the prequels, like Palpatine was, running the government, and he was actually Darth Sidious. Spoilers. But nobody knew. Like they couldn't sense it. They can sense. Obi-Wan can sense people a half a galaxy away on Alderaan getting blown up. A million voices suddenly cry out, and then we're suddenly silenced. He can feel that across the galaxy, and they're not force positive or negative at all. They're just people who just happen to blow up on a planet. But we get somebody who's a ton of people who are super force sensitive, and they don't realize a super powerful Sith Lord is in their presence and his apprentice right on Coruscant. Nobody understands that. Here we have, in the pretty much the first scene, we have Leia facing up against her father, who she does not realize is her father. He does not know that she's his daughter. Between the two of them, he is super force sensitive. He is next to the Emperor, the most powerful force user in the galaxy. Well, Yoda's there, but he's again off, hidden away on a planet, covered with also dark force energy. I don't know. You'll have to figure that out yourself. There's talk about how Dagobah had all this dark force things, like in the tree, that helped mask him from being found. I don't know. That might be just fan fiction. But here you have a guy who's super duper force sensitive, and Leia, who is the child of Vader, the child of Anakin Skywalker. Even if she does not know, which she doesn't, that she has force abilities, he should have felt something. So, is it an external thing, like Yoda on Dagobah, with the dark side of the Force helping mask him? I don't know, that whole fan fiction thing. Or is it something, an ability, an innate ability that some Force users have to hide themselves from detection? Did Palpatine have this? Apparently, he also hid himself, for him and his clones, for I don't know how many decades, going all the way into the sequel trilogy. Nobody sensed him. I mean, Luke was the most powerful Jedi, the last Jedi, technically, and he never sensed him. Of course, he shut himself down when he went into exile, but still, before that those machinations were in process. He should have known. So maybe Palpatine and maybe Leia both have this ability to hide themselves, or the Force has the ability to hide them as it chooses. I don't know. It's speculation on my part, and you can discuss that if you like. If you have a comment or a question, feel free to ask it. I can answer it if I can. But yeah, for me, it just seems really strange. And yeah, it could be something that a power that Leia had that she just didn't realize she had. And of course, we know that she's, as we learned in Rise of Skywalker, she definitely, and also Last Jedi, she definitely has been training and had been training under Luke to explore her powers, her abilities. So, yeah. Again, I haven't read every single scrap of paper and every Wikipedia entry uh, on the internet, so I don't know everything. I'm not 12 anymore. When I was 12, I knew everything because you only had, well, at that point, 2 movies. 13, we had 3 movies. So I knew every single thing when I was a kid. Not so much anymore because there's new stuff coming out every minute. So, anyway, something to think about. The other thing is that kind of I realized it big time now is that everybody lies to Luke. Everybody. From the beginning, R2 and 3PO. We all know about Obi-Wan lying to him pretty much about his dad from a certain point of view, how Vader betrayed and killed his father. Yeah, we get it from a certain point of view. But R2's like, yeah, I'm not showing you anything. Oh, maybe you take off my restraining bolt, then I can show you the rest of the message of that pretty girl who's your sister. I'm pretty sure I realize that R2 hasn't seen Luke since he was a baby, but I'm pretty sure he knows it is Luke. He was there when he was born, so he knows who Luke is. Now, he may have been lying to him to protect him, to not give him all the information. Who knows if Obi-Wan or anybody wanted him to get involved? He needed to be protected. He's the son of Vader. R2 knows this. And yes, he hides this. He lies to Luke. I can't show you the video. It's probably broken. But if you take off my restraining bolt that keeps me here on the plantation, maybe I'll get loose. Oh, maybe I'll show you the rest of the message. But no, I won't. And when you go to dinner, then I'm going to run away. So, yeah, it's R2's lying to him, and C-3PO's even lying to him. Where again, he downplays the idea at different points when you watch the first part of the movie. 3PO seems to know who the princess is, not know who the princess is, depending on who he's talking to, especially when it comes to Luke. He's like, oh, our last master was Antilles, but not, certainly not the princess. But, oh, no, there'll be no escape for the princess this time when the Imperial ship overtakes them. So, 3PO is pretty good at, if not outright lying, downplaying certain connections. 3PO knows what's going on, and we've seen other stories with R2 and 3PO beyond the main Star Wars movies. We've seen them in Rebels, we've seen them in Clone Wars. They know what's going on. Yes, 3PO had his memory erased in Revenge of the Sith, but things have happened since then. So, either way, R2's a liar. We all know that. R2 has lied his way through this. He's the biggest hero, and he's my favorite character, but he has lied his way through the entire saga in order to preserve himself, but he also gets his butt kicked the most. Blown up, burned up, just destroyed, and then put back together. By the way, after the Battle of Yavin, they all get back. Luke's getting praised and cheered on. And then they show R2 bringing him down. They're like, oh no, R2, he got hurt. And 3PO's like, oh my gosh, I treated him like shit the entire time of this entire movie. But you know what? I think anything we can do to help him, I'll donate parts. And Luke's like, don't worry about it, he'll be fine. Let's go party. And then they'll just walk off arm in arm, Han, Chewie, Leia, and Luke. And they're all just like, yeah. Hey, by the way, my best friend from Tatooine, Biggs, also died. And yeah, Leia, by the way, also going back even further, Luke's all bummed out that Ben died early on. He's like, I've known this guy for like a day and a half, maybe a week. I don't know how long they were in space. But they knew each other maybe a few hours at least, at most a day. And Leia's there comforting him. Oh, he lost an old man that he just barely knew. By the way, my planet blew up like earlier today, and I lost everybody I've ever loved. I'm a strong person. Leia's the strong one between the two of them, by the way. We all know this. Yeah, come on. But still, my foot itches. But still, there's a weird balance of sympathy in this movie. Anyway, everybody lies to Luke. Uncle Owen obviously lies to Luke. He's like, I don't want you being like your father. And by the way, I don't even know if Owen necessarily knows that Anakin became Darth Vader. Most people don't know that. As we're discovering in the Darth Vader comic book from Marvel, even the people who served Padme closely, her handmaidens, they, this might be some spoilers for some of you, they believed that Darth Vader, the Emperor's right hand, killed Padme and Anakin. Not putting the two together, that Anakin is Vader. So, what are the odds that that news is going to trickle down to Owen and Beru on their farm? And like, oh yeah, you know what? Your dad turned evil and then joined the dark side. He apparently found out, and I'm betting we might find out that Obi-Wan told him. It's the only way he would probably know. Yeah, that's the only way they would know. And maybe he'll tell him in the Kenobi series on Disney Plus. That would make sense, guys. Deborah Chow, Ewan, make sure that scene gets in there, because when he shows up to say, hey, you know what, take the baby, his dad's evil now. Maybe that's when he told him. And that's why Owen doesn't want him following in his father's footsteps. Not because he was a Jedi, because, again, he only met him well after he was a Jedi. So, yeah. Oh, wait. Hey, no, come back here. Man, I was talking a while. Sorry about that. I said that for a really long time. But I think I've had it on before I started talking. Anyway, yeah, so we got R2, 3PO, Uncle Owen, Obi-Wan, all these people lying to Luke. And it forms his opinion about everything and informs his path. Yeah, he eventually gets told the truth after the fact, but come on. Our hero is entering into some dangerous situations based on half-truths and outright lies. It's kind of not really the hero's journey in that respect. I don't know. So, that's all I can really tell you. That's just something that's going through my head as I'm watching Star Wars. Maybe you've got some ideas about Star Wars and things that you want to discuss. I know that the internet doesn't have any place to talk about Star Wars, but that nobody ever discusses it, ever. And never in a very toxic, horrific, just soul-crushing way. Nobody can seem to love Star Wars anymore. I love Star Wars. Unconditionally. I'm not going to make a big deal about little things that aren't the way I wanted them to be. Guess what? I can love it even I can love Jar Jar too. So, I know that's a sin, but I can love Star Wars as a whole because it's brought me so much joy over the years. And I hope it's brought joy to you guys as well. And I hope to be talking about Star Wars a lot more, because we still got a lot of Star Wars stuff to watch here on Disney Plus. I have barely scratched the surface. We've done Empire Strikes Back, Attack of the Clones, Rebels, a bunch of little Lego things, and A New Hope. So we have a lot of Star Wars movies to come. We did Resistance too. But yeah, so we'll see what happens next. Looking forward to it. Here we go. Let's pick tomorrow's episode. We've talked enough.
562.
562. Well, that's well past the Star Wars stuff, which dominates the early 500s. All right. Well, you know what? I was wondering when we were gonna get this. It was added after the launch, and I don't know if you'll find me singing, but we'll see what happens in the next episode here. 562 is the Disney Family Sing-Along. Right, the Disney Family Sing-Along on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with a song in my heart. I'll see you then.